What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station. No one starts to change anything and everything animation, and including a sponge that lives in the pineapple under the sea. New record. Anyway, today, well, I gotta make these reviews quick because the Nintendo Direct is going to be on very, very soon. It starts at 5. It's almost 4:30 now. And I usually try to start my recording of those videos around 4:45 so that I can actually do a live somewhat reaction. I don't do a live stream reaction because I have way too many technical problems. So, let's start with Midlife Crustacean. We have a very Krabby double feature, by the way, because these are both Mr. Krabs episodes. In this episode, Mr. Krabs is feeling, well, old. Because everything's changing, people are reacting to him, in different ways, stuff like that. And then he hears about SpongeBob and Patrick's plans to go out on the town. So he decides, well, I'll join these youngsters, see if it'll help me feel young again. So he joins them, and it turns out their definition of cool is not all what he expects. This episode is just fantastic. It is really, really good because not only that, it's one of the most adult episodes in SpongeBob. And no, it's not just because of the scene I'm going to get to that got this episode banned in the first place. Yes, this is a banned episode now. I'm going to explain why when I get to highlights. But I really like the ways that they show age and the way they convey all these things that, well, are going to end up happening in real life when an older person bumps into a younger stranger. Stuff like that. Like, can you walk any faster? Or all the pills you have to take just to breathe and live, stuff like that. It's a very mature episode of SpongeBob. Now getting into the highlights, I have two. The obvious one is, Patrick, that's not a ride! Get off of me! I love that whole montage, but that one scene is amazing. And yes, let's talk about the thing that got this episode banned in the first place, and that is the panty raid, which is my second highlight. Just the fact that it's Mr. Krabs' mother's house and the way that Patrick is so smug about it, they weren't hiding what they were doing. And it's really interesting to see a show that's usually, well, for all ages, but mostly tries to aim at kids, does something this adult like a panty raid, like seeing their characters go into a stranger's house and steal their breeches, their underpants. So, yeah, that is what got this episode banned according to what research I was able to find online, but it is still available on the older Season 3 DVDs, including the complete Season 3 DVD, normal DVD, as well as the collector's one that came out, when that season first came to DVD. You know what I mean. If you can get those two, you are still going to get this episode, but I'm pretty sure any DVDs you buy from here on out, this episode's not going to be on there because it has been banned. And it's not on Paramount Plus, which pretty much also shows that it's a banned episode as well. And unlike Quarantined Crab, I don't think this is an episode we're going to be seeing get unbanned anytime soon. Which is a darn shame because this episode's a 9 out of 10. This is a great episode, and it's a great episode for Mr. Krabs, and it's one of the most mature episodes in all of SpongeBob. It gets better with age. So. Sorry about that. Bug flying around in my room. But okay, yeah, with that out of the way, let's move on to our second episode of the day, Born Again Krabs. Alrighty, and here we are with another Mr. Krabs episode, yeah, 2 back-to-back, in Born Again Krabs. In this episode, Mr. Krabs has a near-death experience when he eats a rotten Krabby Patty that he told SpongeBob to not throw away to save, well, a cent, because this is an episode about him being cheap and greedy. So, when he has this near-death experience, he comes across to the Flying Dutchman, who's getting ready to take him to Davy Jones' locker, but Mr. Krabs is able to beg him, pretty much, to let him stay on Earth. Or stay living. but with the caveat that he must always be generous and never cheap. And at first it works well, and then Squidward has to completely break his illusion that he's still in a dream, and then everything just, well, goes how you'd expect. And then when he tries to rip a guy's arm off for a penny, no, it's not a highlight, but it's something worth noting, Dutchman comes back to take his soul to the underworld, pretty much. But then SpongeBob comes in and backsasses Dutchman, which is hilarious. Again, not a highlight, but it's funny. It's something funny worth pointing out. And he bets the Dutchman, he bets his soul, that Mr. Krabs won't sell his soul to the Dutchman for a couple of bucks. And then he takes all the change out of his pocket. I'm going to get to the actual amount in a minute because it's part of the highlights. And then Squidward scolds Mr. Krabs, and then he realizes what he's done was bad, and then Dutchman ends up giving SpongeBob back because it turns out he's tortured to be around. And then that's pretty much the whole episode. It's very simple on paper, but it's a really great one. It's another one that's really mature, too, because you see Krabs get food poisoning, pretty much, and it looks like it's a near-death experience, and then the doctor takes out his clipboard, and it looks like, well, he's actually, well, dead. And then the Flying Dutchman comes in, and apparently the doctor also tells Squidward and SpongeBob that Krabs isn't coming back, which is another word for, you know what I mean. I know that there's some kids that watch my channel, so I'm not going to outright say it again. The first time it slipped my mind, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to any kids I might have just scarred by saying what I just said. I'm sorry, I'm an absolute mess today. But, yeah. This is another great episode. I don't think it's as great as Midlife Crustacean, but it's still great. I have 2 highlights for this episode as well. The first one, try to remember what it is. Oh, yeah. It's when SpongeBob puts the rotten Krabby Patty in a cage, and then Mr. Krabs asks, and then SpongeBob, in the most flat tone you can imagine, is just like, because it growled at me. That part always gets me chuckling. And then, of course, the second highlight, you guys know what I'm going to say. 62 cents! Like, it's become one of those parts of SpongeBob that's just outright iconic, and as soon as anyone says it, you know exactly where it's from, through cultural osmosis. It is one of the most iconic, hilarious, one-note off gags in SpongeBob. And then, again, this is just another really good episode for Krabs, because he realizes what he did was wrong after Squidward scolds him, but he still feels regretful selling SpongeBob off for pocket change. And then he realizes what he's done. He throws his money on the floor, which is something that we very rarely ever see him do. And then, well, Dutchman gives him back. Mr. Krabs apologizes, and the episode just ends. And then it has a goofy little epilogue with SpongeBob talking Dutchman's ear off on the phone. This episode's great, 8 out of 10. I do feel like it has a little bit of a pacing problem in that second act, and the third act just feel a bit rushed, which is why it's not higher on the list. Still a great episode, still a highlight of the season. And yeah, that's really all I can say. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go into absolute overdrive because I have less than 10 minutes to edit this before I can actually get my live reaction out for the Nintendo Direct. Hope and pray that's not trash. So, yep, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell, do all that algorithmic garbage to help the channel grow. And tomorrow, we may or may not have Spider Phantom joining us because we have to talk about I Had an Accident and Krabby Land. So, yep. I'll see you for those reviews. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Jack Small, Lonely Animation Station, signing out. See you next time. Peace. And now I gotta go pick up my pen off the floor, which just flew off my notebook. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a mess today. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.